Hi, this is Sean Hyman from MyWealth.com, and I just want to talk to you about today's blog post. It's entitled 120 Billion Reasons Why to Sell the Yen. And I came up with that title because they just announced overnight it's 13 Asian nations, $120 billion currency pool that they're putting together that they'll all collectively share as one pot. That will be comprised of Japan, China, and South Korea, mainly being the biggest contributors to this pool. They'll comprise 80% of the pool, and then the rest of the 13 nations, which will be the 10 remaining nations, will be they'll come up with the extra 20% of the pool. But everybody will have access to this huge pool of money to be able to defend their currencies. And why would they want to do that? Well, remember the 1997-1998 Asian contagion. That was where you had, currencies just dropping off a cliff. These central bankers were using all of their reserves up pretty much to try to defend their currencies to no avail. The trend was still going against them. They ultimately had to turn to the IMF for help. So this is one big preventative measure right here, and I think it's one thing that you'll see that helps them to protect their currencies and pad that and help them out. And I think this united effort, where you see this unity among 13 nations over in Asia, is really going to help change the sentiment over there. And sentiment change is one of the biggest things that can happen for you in currencies. Through the last year, most of these Asian currencies have done nothing but slide off the map, except for the yen, which has unduly been gone up into the stratosphere. And this change in sentiment, I think, is what's going to really catch a lot of traders off guard. I want to make sure my readers were aware, because I think this is going to turn dollar-yen around to where you're going to see the dollar finally rise against the yen as the yen falls. And you're going to see a lot of these other Asian currencies that have been picked on and just hammered down. I think it's probably a smart move for a lot of these guys to cover their shorts and to not still consider that the theme is going to continue, because these guys are putting things in place over in these governments and these central banks and pulling their resources together to where they're going to be able to ward off a lot of short sellers of their currencies, and a lot of those are still trying to take the yen up into the stratosphere by being a buyer of yen. And so I think this is going to be a big, huge turnaround and shift, and it's going to catch a lot of people off guard, especially in the dollar-yen pair, because it's such a focus of between the U.S. and Asia. So much actual trade goes on there, and that particular exchange rate brings a lot of help to Japan or a lot of hurt to Japan, depending on where it's at. Right now, it's giving them a lot of hurt. So I think that you're going to see some of these things come into play to where the yen is going to start to taper off even more so than it has in the past. And those of you that have been in my courses and have been in our alumni forums and blogs know that I've been talking about the yen for a little while, and it's started to come into play. The yen has started to tank. The dollar started to finally rise up against it. And I think you're going to see these other smaller, more emerging Asian currencies come into play as well, where they're going to finally stop getting shorted quite as much and picked on quite as much because of this $120 billion pool. So this is showing a lot of unity, a lot of these guys standing shoulder to shoulder to do something about their situation, so we don't go back to one of these 1998 Asian contagion catastrophes. Because the problem is when something like that happens, it doesn't just affect that part of the world. You can't just say, okay, I live in Europe or I live in America or whatever, and it won't affect me, because these things have a ripple effect and they work their way around all around the world. Just like you've seen a U.S. real estate bubble burst, and it affects Europe, and it affects Australia, and it affects Japan, and all these other nations. We're more intertwined than a lot of people would like to think, and that's why we have to be concerned about things in other nations, whether it's on our homeland or not. So these are things to keep in mind, and I hope you enjoy the article. Keep in touch with us at mywealth.com. Check out our courses. $25 you can get an online course where you'll get instruction from myself and Bob. We'll take you through the courses, answer your questions. You'll be able to go through them online at your own convenience. Just go to mywealth.com, click on the courses tab, and check us out. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.